Hey listeners, you're listening to the Midnight Readers podcast. Grab some tea, a midnight snack, and cuddle up in bed as we dive deep into today's most popular fantasies, sci-fi, and mysteries. We're your hosts. I'm Lily.
I'm Brittany.
And I'm Christy.
This season we'll be discussing the heart-pounding military fantasy that's part Hunger Games and part How to Train Your Dragon. That's right, grab your flight jacket, we're headed to Biscayeth.
A dragon without its rider is a tragedy. A reader without their book or this podcast is dead. Welcome to the revolution. My best advice, don't die and don't worry. We most likely won't eat our allies.
In this episode, we're discussing Onyx Storm chapters 44 through 54, where Second Squad gains a new Shadow Wielder, and Arisha gains working wards. Unfortunately, Violet and the readers say goodbye to a beloved character.
Before we get into it, this is your warning for major spoilers ahead. This includes potentially all Empyrean series materials. We're also avid fans of the Moss universe and might accidentally let spoilers slip for other popular romantasy book series as well. Sorry in advance, like the books, this podcast is rated R, so be warned.
Also, a friendly reminder to please like, subscribe, and follow. You can find us on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, and YouTube. You can also join our growing community on Patreon for bonus content and more.
Last we left off, Quest Squad had just returned from the Isles after losing Traeger, procuring an army, and getting rejected from the Irids, only to find out that Suniva has fallen, Queen Mariah is now dead, and long live King Tic-Tac. Fortunately, even though they disobeyed orders, no court-martials are imminent. Thank you, Aaric. Unfortunately, it is days of debriefing and then back to class.
Which, I just can't get past the fact that nothing bad happened to them.
Mm-hmm. That is a common sentiment.
Like nothing? You guys broke all of the rules. You kidnapped a prince of Navarre. And, well, he went willingly, but they might see it that way. And, you didn't get in any trouble? At all?
I was shocked that King Tari wasn't upset that...
I'm suspicious.
Yeah, that he left. I mean, he didn't want him to get in trouble at all. I don't know. It seems to me that based on how he's described, that he would have loved punishing him. I don't know.
I feel like if Aaric hadn't gone with them, like say if Halden had gone with them, then they would have been punished and it would have been whatever. But because Aaric had been missing for so long, he's probably worried about his child. He was already very upset about Alec dying in Threshing, that he banned his children from being in the Writer's Quadrant altogether. So at least I'll give the man that he loves his children.
I mean, that's fair. I just still think that something should have happened to them. Maybe it's because it's near the end of the book and she didn't want to spend words and pages on it, but I almost feel like it's a cop-out. I just, unfortunately, feel like it's one of those things that needed more expansion. I don't know. Maybe that's unfair because, I mean, we're also used to reading books that stuff like that happens. Like, think of Harry Potter.
Yeah, where there's excessive amounts of punishment. But
sure.
For me, while I agree, like I expected something to happen, at least for Atos to slyly get his punishment in. Yeah. But I do think it was done for like, oh, this book was already over word count and she had to take scenes out. And so,
damn.
Yeah. Apparently, originally, getting the Papa Sorengale's research out of her old bedroom was an entire Quest Squad heist.
That would have been great.
Yeah. Yeah, I could have done a longer book.
I would have loved that. Yeah.
I would have been fine with a longer book as well.
Same.
But apparently the publishers had a word count and they wanted to stick to it.
Really? That seems so stupid. Really?
Should have made it 2 books, maybe.
Yeah. That's crazy. Although, okay. Did you like the intro for the chapter? Agatha Mayfair.
Oh, yeah.
Screw this. I hate my job. Oh my
I feel that. I feel that so much. Just watching somebody act like an idiot and you're like, I could give you advice, but you won't take it. And I hate my job because you won't let me do it.
So, but my question from the opening quote was, so is this quote telling us that the king has power because of the conflict with Poromiel, and he got power to unify everyone and then just never gave it back?
Well, the conflict with Poromiel is ongoing. So
Technically.
it ended with the Second Eratia Accords because they are now allies with Poromiel. So then, yes, the armies go back to their provinces.
And I think
he no longer has control over them.
Right, but they want that power back. They want...
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah. Which is one of the reasons I assume that we have the conflict that Xaden ends up being in, which is, I'm going to do what I want with Tyrandor, and you can't tell me what to do. And then Halden's like, I'm the prince. It's like, no, buddy, it doesn't work like that anymore.
You're a prince, not the prince.
Anyways.
But yeah, they debriefed them, and apparently only Navarians debrief the Navarians, and the Flyers get Poromiel representation. And so they get told that even though they have an alliance, Navarre is still not taking civilians. And then they're just sent back to class. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Although I love that she's like, at least I get to see Markham's jealousy face the few times he sits in. And I'm like, yeah, I would love that.
That's a little bit of, karma right there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, please explain to me why the fuck they're still in class. Certain classes I can understand and see, but certain classes, why? You are at war.
Agreed. Although for battle brief, that is something they do with military people. Like, I'm just picturing the Independence Day where they're all briefing the Flyers on the battle to come and dissecting their tactics. So that is something the military does.
Yeah,
but why they need to learn history at this point?
Physics?
Yeah, I mean, but they haven't graduated yet. So, like, can they just hand them their degree and say, fuck right off? Or no?
Exactly.
I don't know.
I wouldn't just hand them the degree and say, fuck the rest. But I would focus more on physics and flight maneuvers and battle brief than... Oh, if you don't pass history, you don't get to graduate.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is they shouldn't do that. That was sarcasm.
Oh, okay.
I was like, they can't just do that. Yeah, no, I think that's the problem is they're still technically students.
I don't know.
They're just in this weird limbo.
At this point, they should be like, okay, you've been through all this shit. You fought these battles. Here is your degree. Congratulations. Like, you took the life course.
Well, the first years, some of them haven't even manifested yet. They still need to learn things. The second years have less things to learn, but still need to learn a few things. And
they're still learning under the professors.
And not only that, but you still have to have more recruits coming in and training them as well.
But when you narrow down the types of classes they do and filter out the fluff.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Yeah.
Like, they don't need to be spending time learning history or math or...
No, that's... Okay, history is important.
I get that. It is important for later.
History is important because of all the things Violet did with history.
And I don't think that... Like, I think that Violet should still continue to look and research, but the history that they're teaching is not helping. So...
That's what you think. And then you remember something from hundreds of years ago, like Violet, and then you unravel an entire plot. So I disagree. You might think it's unimportant, but that is not a line I will follow.
I don't think that history is not important. I was a history buff. I know not you because you got your whole like degree in it. But when I was in college,
I may be biased.
I took every psychology class that I could take because I loved psychology, and I took every history class that I could take because I loved history. However, I think that the history that Bezgaeth is going to teach is not important. I think that they should do independent study research on their own when they're not doing flight maneuvers, because at this point, whatever Bezgaeth is going to teach, I don't think is going to help the war effort. Anything they teach, I'm pretty sure Violet will already have known, except for poor Meal's history. And she can read about it in the book she's getting from King Tic Tac. I'm not saying she shouldn't study history.
I apologize for starting this conversation.
I'm saying that the school itself should focus on teaching the other cadets who are not going to make that once in a lifetime connection more things that will keep them alive.
I'm not sure I agree with you, but we can move on.
How many Violet students are in that school? Think about it.
It's not about that. It's not our job to decide who's a Violet and who's not.
There is no other Violet.
I'm just saying. Even biased history is important. It tells you things. Moving on.
So they do dissect this, I guess, battle that happened while they were gone with Suniva falling. I think it's also important to point out that Corden still stands. That most of Krovla, which had been left free, has been taken over, but Corden still stands.
So it does make me wonder because, Queen Mariah wasn't around that long. And another thing that was really odd about this section, just right off the bat, I think it's one of the flyers, or maybe Kat says, oh, wait, no. It's one of the professors, I think, that's like, you guys didn't see that all these places had been taken when you were flying back? And it's like, no, they didn't, which is also weird. I don't know if that's a problem of them just not paying attention or if that's something we need to latch on to.
Like that it was a lie?
Yeah.
It's a good catch.
Personally, I like that thought, but they also did just come back from losing Traeger and being dejected from losing or being rejected by the Earids.
That's fair. I just thought it was an odd.
It is odd
detail,
and it's interesting that it's specifically pointed out in the book.
It's just weird that, and the fact that, like Kat says, well, you didn't get the full debrief or whatever, Yeah. And then you're telling me Corden is still standing and now Tic Tac is in charge. Doesn't that sound? All of those details together don't sound like they match up. Yeah.
I wonder if we'll find out why Corden still stands. I need to know.
Yeah, does he have a ward stone? Does he have a deal with somebody? It's just weird.
I think he's got something that repels them somehow. Whether it's a ward stone or something else, yeah.
Well, we do find out that the Venin did approach Suniva in a storm as cover. And I'll be honest, if I learned that, I would constantly be looking at every storm that shows up. Like, are there Venin in there? We need to guard the walls.
Totally agree.
When they go to Aurasia, it's literally raining for days.
And why wouldn't they be suspicious of that? That was my first thought. I was like, didn't we just talk about how they can get through in thunderstorms?
Yeah. And in this battle brief, they're like, if we don't dissect it and prepare for it, then they'll use it again. Well, guess what?
Yep. And then they did.
Even though you dissected it, you figured out how they did it, you still didn't prepare for it. You still didn't be like, okay, so if it's raining and a storm is approaching or whatever, we need to be more on guard. We need to have more patrols, something.
But was anyone else kind of disappointed that, I don't know, I feel like they should have talked more about that. And they also should have talked more about when Violet tells everyone about Xaden.
I think, again, the fact that she skipped over that is because she did show us the first time that she told them a secret that she was keeping hidden from them.
Yeah.
And so it's a scene we've already seen. And again, she had to keep the word count down.
That's so sad, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, Xaden kind of asked the questions to prompt them to talk about this battle because they're like in shutdown mode. They don't want to talk about it. And they had 6 crates of the alloy hilted daggers in their armory. And the Venom took all of them. I want to know why.
Which is interesting. I said, which is interesting because why do they need them? What do they want them for? Is it just to keep them from fighting? That surely can't be it. I don't know.
I would have thought that they would have just drained the daggers and left them. Like, they don't need weapons. They're full of magic. Why didn't they? I guess, I mean, it takes weapons away from them, I guess, so that they can't be killed.
I mean, that's a reasonable answer, but why does it feel like it's not enough?
I agree. It doesn't feel like that's the whole answer. But the class also finally says what we've all been thinking out loud. There are traitors amongst them.
Yep. Finally, we address it. Which, why haven't they before now?
For real. And you would think that now that they've addressed it, they would be like, okay, well, let's keep information to only these people until the only people who can be trusted. But no. I mean, we've got the second squad going to Aaricia and Panchek and Kaori just tagging along.
Randomly.
Which I love Kaori, but what if... Can we trust him? And you know I don't trust Panchek.
No. Mm-mm. There's no way. I mean, he's got to be up to something. Because why is he just hanging out? What are you doing coming to Aaricia? I don't know.
I mean, at least Kaori is like, well, yeah, I kind of wanted to see the other dragons, but Panchek?
Yeah, there's no good reason for him to be around.
You don't get out of bed unless there's an execution to be had, so...
And there's a disturbing lack of Atos around, which concerns me.
That's true, too.
Like, where is he?
Although, if I were Xaden, I would ban Atos from ever coming to Aaricia.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But I just figured for Panchek that he just wanted to be in the middle of it. He doesn't want to be left out, and he still thinks he's in charge.
Yeah,
even though he was passed over for promotion?
Like, what does he actually do?
Nothing.
Right.
It must be important that he's sent there because we don't know what the fuck his job is, so...
We don't know what his signet is. We don't know... Like, I think is his dragon brown? Or is it green?
Good fucking question. Yeah.
But I think the color is the only thing that we know about the dragon. Anyway, I will say, Violet brings up a really good point later, is that no one thinks of poor Bodhi when they were like, who do we send?
Oh, yeah. When they're doing the running jump and then the jump back on training, he nails it hardcore. And Violet's just like, man, of course he nailed it. Why can't everyone be like Bodhi?
Yeah, and Xaden's
he's
like,
an overlooked character.
He's my cousin. Of course he's perfect in every way.
And he was like, it'd be a shame if I had to kill him. That did get me, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Especially with the whole, like, it's Bodhi's jacket, you asshole.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But it's kind of like they've mentioned several times that Bodhi wanted to go on Quest Squad. He wants to stand by Xaden's side as Xaden rules Tyrandor and be there with him, and Xaden's kind of sidelining him a little bit, and he's not taking it well. And he's forgotten.
I don't think he's forgotten. I guess that's how we're supposed to see it, but I don't know. Garrick isn't really in this section either.
But have we talked about Bodhi? most of this podcast? We've talked about Garrick.
No, but I mean, he just doesn't have a central role. Garrick kind of does.
Yeah. And I think that's the point, is that, he's kind of pushed to the side a little bit. And I feel like he's coming out and actually showing that he feels pushed to the side.
Do you think he's going to betray them?
I was about to say, I feel like she's setting up the betrayal arc. Mm-hmm. Oh, I really hope not, because I really like Bodhi.
I really like Bodhi too. I want him to have... So there are some love connections that people are... Ships. There's some ships that are new from this book. And nobody brought up a ship for Bodhi. And I was like, oh, what about Bodhi? I want him to have somebody.
Can I have him?
I mean, he's just as gorgeous as Xaden, but, softer.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff we don't know about him. And I think that if she's bringing it up, maybe we'll learn some more. Maybe it'll come out of either the end of this book or the next book in some way.
Yeah. And one of my favorite scenes is when they do get to Ryerson House and Violet is just standing there going, oh, where do I go? And he's like, we're home, Vi. Act like it. It's just so cute. Yeah. You can tell Bodhi has accepted her as, she's family now. And
yeah, it's a cute scene. He's like, hello, you do have a room.
Of course you do. He'll just brood more if you don't sleep there.
It does concern me, though, that you're bringing him up after you mentioned traitors. And at this point, with all the fuckery, my heart is hurting. It's tired.
There is a point, there is a reason why I'm bringing it up, but...
Can we just hit up Google, Lily?
No.
Oh, God.
No.
Christy's like, hey,
we have one section to go.
I have one waiting.
But this is
one section
Brittany,
to go.
When you fuck with us. You want to fuck with us? I will Google this shit.
So after tonight, just read the book.
Christy's like, I'm sick and tired of this bullshit. Okay.
Just after tonight, just read the book.
Empyrean Wiki. Anyway.
No. I am bringing it up for a reason, because I want you to keep it in mind when we discuss something next section.
I knew it. You devious child.
I didn't say that he was a traitor.
You didn't say it.
I just said it has relevance.
Yeah, Christy and I both, okay, you didn't say it, but...
I just said it has relevance, and I want you to think about it now.
Oh, God. Okay, well, I'm thinking about it.
All right, well, let's talk about the battle mount.
Okay.
The only thing I really have to say about it was a fun scene.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point of this maneuver? I mean, it would work for somebody like maybe Bodhi, where he has to be in a certain range. But Violet can wield lightning from the back of Taryn. She doesn't have to be close to do that. She shouldn't be close to do that. Dane... He's going to jump down, read somebody's memory, and get back on? Most of these signets aren't weapons.
Get out and whack. It's a whack and go. So they might have to get out and whack a venom and then get back on the dragon. And so, or pick something off the ground. What if they drop something off the ground and they have to get off and on?
What if they drop something on the ground?
But they're not practicing sword maneuvers.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want logical?
They're getting down and wielding, and again, half of these signets, most of these signets aren't weapons.
Do you think that this should have been cut, Brittany, instead of something else?
What is Heaton gonna do? Jump down and hold their breath in a small little vat of water? And how is that helpful?
Maybe Rebecca Yarros ran out of shit to train, okay? Maybe she can only have so many fantasy training scenes in her mind.
And I get it. If they needed to get down off their dragon and do something like retrieve something or fight sword to sword, hand to hand, whatever. But the signet training?
Have a sip of water.
I feel like that was only there so Xaden could be teacher.
Oh my gosh, maybe. That's possible.
But it was totally worth it for Taryn's line. When he was like,
Yeah.
I wish I'd set out threshing 2 years ago.
I really love when he's sassy like that.
Yeah.
Such a good line.
Just be like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You would have missed me.
That, and it would be a shame to kill my last living relative. The whole chapter was pretty fun. So I wasn't mad about it.
What about that birthday present?
The Onyx bracelet. Okay. So clearly, are we all on the same page that this bracelet is clearly keeping him from going venom, right? Like, it's protecting him somehow. Mm-hmm. It's keeping him in control. The Onyx stone has some kind of protective power, or it's limiting him. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. Because the second she gave it to him, I was like, it's Onyx. Hello, name of the book. And then also, Onyx stones are known for protection. It's got to be that.
I feel like...
And Mira's wearing one, right?
Mm-hmm. Tourmaline. Hers is black.
She's wearing tourmaline. Okay.
Which, also for protection.
I think we already mentioned that, actually, that I mixed it up last time, too.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But...
Black stone.
I think this bracelet is definitely gonna come into play. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
But Xaden's not the only one that got a gift. Xaden sent her one, too.
He did. He sent her a very sexy little nightgown.
Yes, and I love the fact that it is actually in the book. She's admiring this black silver silk when they're in Delvarelli, and Xaden gets down and says, "Let's go inquire about our bookstore owner. Come on, Dane." It means Dane had to to buy this silk.
Oh my god.
Oh
my god.
Xaden to give to Violet.
That's pretty good. That's gold. I did not catch that.
Yeah, let's go, Crowblish. Let's go.
Yeah, I was thinking I was like, when did he do that? You know what I mean? But I did not catch the fact that, obviously he doesn't speak the language, so how would he do it?
Oh yeah, he went into that store knowing that he was going to buy that silk. And that's why he's like, yeah, I got my gems to pay for it.
Oh my god.
And pretended to, he asked about the bookstore owner, but he pretended that he was only going in there for that reason.
I will say, even though it feels like whiplash, in this section, Xaden is so much more like himself, and I was thankful for that. I was like, whoa, all of a sudden Xaden is normal again, which is concerning, but also I was like, okay, I'm going to revel in it a little bit. Like,
why would that be concerning, Lily?
I don't want to talk about this.
Is it like Traeger when Kat and Traeger were all happy and stuff?
I'm in my bubble. Let me be in my bubble. Let me be in my bubble. I was just reveling in the everything's okay right now, because I was really starting to feel kind of doomsday, because he kept going venom and he kept channeling, and it was starting to really weigh on me. Like, the last section was so heavy for me. I was just like, okay, breath of fresh air for a minute, Despite the shitty things that happened in this section, it still, for me, did not feel as heavy as the last one.
Even though he's still brooding?
Even though he's still brooding, he's saying things like, I love you, but you should run. He's still, like, but that's funny, you know what I mean? He's like, I'm still a bad person, but he's still making jokes out of it right now, so I think it's better.
Yeah. So, speaking of which, he does leave, I think, and then Taryn hasn't seen Sigale in 10 days. And then she runs into him as this physical fight is coming out of one of the buildings at Basgiath.
Right.
Halden is there. Xaden is there. They're having this big public fight about whether or not Xaden will take civilians. And they have this conversation in which Llewellyn really pisses me off.
Oh, yeah.
Where he basically says, like, you have to put Tyrandor and his role in Tyrandor above your own wants.
Yes. Yeah.
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 And she's literally saying, well, Xaden's needs are above mine. And he's like, well, you may think you know what Xaden needs, but it's really what matters is what Tyrandor needs.
Right.
And to more put on this, Llewellyn and Lindell got Xaden his dukedom, his title back against Xaden's wishes. And then he's going to sit there and be like, oh yeah, by the way, Violet, now that we've done this to Xaden, you need to put Tyrandor first.
Yeah, I mean, he's classic advisor, right? Like, he's pulling the strings. He wants everything to be the way he wants it. Violet gets in his way. It doesn't surprise me that he would tell her that at all.
It doesn't, but I'm disappointed.
Me.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in Xaden that he would have somebody like him around.
Well, Xaden's only got so many allies. And
yeah, that's true.
Llewellyn has been there from the beginning helping him with the revolution.
I'm sure Xaden doesn't see Llewellyn saying stupid shit like that.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely certain that if he knew that Llewellyn said this to Violet,
yeah,
he would
He'd be
rip
pissed.
Llewellyn a new one.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, a lot of the fandom are confused by Llewellyn because Llewellyn is both a place and a name. And I don't
Yeah, that's fair. She's got issues with the name and stuff.
I get that people are upset because, members of my family have the same name, and it's when you're talking about them, you're confusing who is who. But I feel like people are down to the point where it's like, is this a place or is this a person? And why is it both? And I feel like it's common in fantasy that people take the name of the place that you rule over. He refers to the Duke of Lucerys as Lucerys.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Which is also a place, but they only seem confused by Llewellyn.
People are fucking stupid. That's what I've learned.
You just offended all of our listeners.
All I'm saying is sometimes I see shit on Book Talk and I'm like, okay, this is what happens when the book goes to the masses. People are fucking dumb.
There's too much talking. There's too much world building. There's literally these are elements of fantasy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The first thing someone told me about this book, which still just pisses me off, is, oh, I heard the book was bad because it was so much dialogue. What the fuck kind of criticism is that? What
kind of dumbass books
you know how hard
are you
it is
reading that have no dialogue?
Right? I was like, what? Do you know how hard it is to write good dialogue? Mm-hmm. That shit is hard.
Oh, yeah. And there is a saying in the writing world, show don't tell. Dialogue is how you, depending on if you do it right, how you show and not tell.
Yes.
Because if you don't have dialogue, then you're just going to have paragraphs and paragraphs of exposition.
Yep. And it's infuriating. It doesn't shock me that somebody is confused about Llewellyn versus Llewellyn. I get that. But sometimes a take on the internet is just stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. We all know the internet is stupid.
Yeah. The internet gives us so many beautiful things, but it also gives us every other stupid thing you could possibly imagine. So,
yeah. Well, after this encounter, before the fight with Llewellyn or the talk with Llewellyn, Lynx manifests shadows, which really gets to Xaden. Mm-hmm. It is supposed to be a once-in-a-generation power. That's not to say that more than one person can't manifest it. I don't see why more than one person can't, although it's never happened before.
And that's not the way it read. It almost read like only one person would have it. It almost sounded to me like Xaden was saying, I guess he has it now or something. I don't know. Did I read it wrong?
Yeah, that's what they've been taught, is that it's a once-in-a-generation power, and so it can only manifest once.
Yeah, I think he's just mistaken because I don't know. It seems, why wouldn't there be more than one shadow wielder? Like, it is rare, but that doesn't mean that what they think is true is true. I don't know. There have been a lot of new things we've discovered.
They do,
you know?
They do talk about it. Xaden specifically says magic knows that he's turned venom. He's the balance.
If magic knew, would the venom be so easily outnumbering them? I don't know. I just feel like if it were that cut and dry, then it just, I don't know what I'm saying.
Actually, I do, and I completely agree, because that girl, how quickly she turned and how surprised she was. If magic is that weak that anybody can take it, then how can it possibly show balance?
Think about it, though. It's been 5 months since Xaden turned.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like the balance was done immediately.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm just saying that magic seems to let itself get sucked off pretty quick in relation to it trying to show a balance. Like I don't see how it could ever keep a balance if it's losing its magic so quickly, allowing venom to become venom that easily. I don't know. Seems like you could never actually create a balance that would keep up.
Venom, the way I look at it, like venom have the power. So Xaden was on the side of the dragons and humans, and he turned venom. So that puts him on the side of the venom. And so in order to balance the scales, Lynx now manifested shadows. So that there's shadows on both sides.
I just don't think that magic manifests on sides. I think that magic doesn't know, who's bad, who's good. I think that there are balances, but I don't know if magic can just magically say, that Xaden is on the venom side now, because I don't know how you'd be able to tell.
I think it's just because he's venom, even though he's a good venom.
No, I get that. I'm just saying that doesn't make any sense to me. Magic is magic, and venom, I know, are using it in different ways, but I don't understand how magic, this indiscriminate thing, could pick between different usages of it. If that were the case, then wouldn't there be something to balance the Irids? Wouldn't there be something to balance, like Orange Dragon? It just feels like that doesn't make any sense to me.
We don't know if there aren't things to balance the Irids and the dragon.
And we also don't know that the shadows that Lynx is manifesting is a balance for Xaden's venom.
I mean, I will say this. It makes me think about the signets. They keep saying over and over again that signets manifest because of need and the writer who needed it. But if they're going to introduce this whole magic likes all things in balance, Violet says that Xaden manifested shadows because he needed to hide his secrets and whatnot. So does that mean that Lynx is hiding secrets? Or
maybe.
Is it Rebecca Yarros changing the entire way that signets work? Our understanding of how that magic works?
It could be either. I don't really see what you're saying.
I mean, if you take it from the thought that if a venom develops a power, then the humans develop a counterbalance. What if you don't have a writer who needs that power? Then how do you come up with the counterbalance? What if it's not about their needs?
But that gets at my whole point that how do we know the balance is venom and not venom? We don't.
We don't?
We don't. So I get what you're saying, but I also just don't know if that's the case. Think about what happens with Violet at the end of this section. She loses a dragon. How is that balanced out? What was her getting 2 dragons? What did that balance out? When she originally got the 2 dragons, now she lost her dragon and lost power. And lost a signet that was supposedly manifested by something that she needed in the moment. Which, okay, she used it and it helped her against, I guess it helped her against the venom. I don't really know if she did, because that's a whole nother fucking issue. I'm just saying, I don't quite understand the balance issue, because I don't see how it could be venom and not venom. that clearly.
I get that. And I mean, I think that the venom that is appearing in Zayden's dreams, that he is a dream walker, that he makes those dreams happen, that he controls every aspect of it.
Yeah.
And maybe Violet was the balance.
Maybe. Christy, I need your thoughts here.
I tend to think more along the lines that you do, that I don't feel like that the whole balance of magic to me does not make sense, in that I keep going back to how easily it is to become venom. And if that's truly the case, then that means they can become venom so quickly, magic can never keep up with the balance. Like there's no way for it to send something out to the other side to balance it out that quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So I am the same way. I feel like that perhaps a power balance might, the gods, the universe, whatever, might help balance that out. But magic in and of itself, I agree. I don't feel like it is something that, that could truly balance, because I don't know. It doesn't seem plausible. Maybe I'm thinking about it in reality too much, but yeah.
I do think that magic is balancing somehow. I just think that we don't understand yet what that means, really.
Think about it. Theophany, the lightning wielder on the side of the venom, and now we have a lightning wielder on the human side.
Yeah. I just don't think it's that
cut and dry.
Straightforward. Yeah, yeah.
Which makes you wonder, what venom has battle precog? Like Melgren?
I know, right? God, that's horrifying to even consider.
Who did he balance out?
Unless the venom side is Melgren, and the precog is actually Aaric, who I now think has precognition.
Yes, that was exactly what I was thinking when he was sitting there going, but this changes the battle. You have to do it here.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's so
Why
clear.
did she not stop and say, how do you know that? Like, that to me was so fucking specific.
Seriously.
The wyvern are coming.
Okay, but if someone had said
she
literally said, Aaric, I don't have time for you.
She does, but if someone says something like that to you in a really important moment, wouldn't you listen for just a split second and be like, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I was going to bring this up later on when we got to that scene.
We're all over the place. I'm sorry.
Since we are talking about this Llewellyn fight with Halden thing anyway, there is a moment where Aaric is ahead of the gang, and he stops and
pulls Lynx back. Yeah.
And so I was wondering, until we got to the other part, if you would think it was hearing or precog, because those were the two that you had said that you were kind of balancing on.
Yeah, in that scene where Aaric pulls Lynx back, it could have gone either way, I think. My first thought was, he heard them coming through the door, right? Like, he saw what was coming. But the only thing that makes me question that is the scenes later when he's like, you have to protect Dune's temple. And the only reason I could explain that is that he has seen something. Yes. I feel like Aaric's precognition is different from Melgren's, though, because I think his sounds like it's more in the moment, if that is his signet. But it definitely, with the Lynx thing, it definitely could have gone either way, I think.
If he saw them coming out, I don't know if you can really call what happened there a battle. So it probably isn't battle precog.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's different.
Maybe it's just precog overall and not specific to battles.
Right.
So he can see whatever.
Yeah, I was thinking that's so Raven. They're just like they're random. Like she looks off into the distance and then sees something absolutely mundane. Like who knows what it could be, but.
Yeah, well, there is a moment right before he says all this. It says, Aaric pauses on the landing above, his brow furrowing, before Felix practically shoves him down the hall.
Right.
And then he's like, Violet, you have to go save Dune's temple.
Right. Which that could go either way too.
Anyway, it's interesting to think about him potentially being a precog, especially when you think about statements that he's made, like the one he did in Hedotus, where he said,
Got you, motherfucker.
Halden will be king. A terrible one, but Halden will be king. I most likely will die in this battle, but at least I'll do it protecting others.
I'm sorry, Brittany.
Brittany says, because he says, and then Lily goes, got you, motherfucker.
There was a little gnat that's been flying in my face for like 10 minutes. And I was like, I got you. Sorry. But you're right. That is a really poignant statement if he has precog. But I don't know why. In that moment, I didn't take it as I'm foreseeing this. I saw that as we all know that Halden would be a terrible leader. And that is an easy way for her to hide, if he did see it in precognition.
Yeah. And
but
I agree that I read it the exact same way. I still feel that way. I just
do we have a reveal on his signet by the end of the book?
Yes and no. Violet kind of makes a guess and assumption, but it's not confirmed. But everybody's treating it like it's confirmed.
Oh, well,
and
we know how that goes.
I'm pretty sure that maybe Rebecca Yarros agreed to it in an interview.
Okay.
But it was I'm not going to say what his signet is, but so that they didn't spoil it to the audience.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so let's talk about Sawyer.
Oh man, I was so happy that Rhiannon kicked him in his ass a little bit because I was waiting. I was waiting for him to come back.
Yeah, he's not happy with her when she suggests that Violet be sent to counter Theophany.
Which is very sweet.
Yeah, even hypothetically. And Violet's like, dude, that's her job.
He's like, she's doing what she's supposed to do.
Yeah. And I love his drag, like, is it Slicezag?
Sleeg.
I don't know how to say it.
That's the way the audiobook pronounces
Sleezag?
Sleeg.
Just Sleeg.
Oh, just Sleeg? Okay. All right. Okay, I like that. I thought that was really sweet between him and his dragon. Blatantly, he wanted to help Sawyer, and Sawyer was so worried about dishonoring him. Oh, I wanted to cry.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
I have a rant. I know, I understand how Sawyer is feeling. I have felt that way. But from an outside point of view, I was just like, to think that somebody being kind and helpful is dishonorable made me a little sad for Sawyer. And again, I felt that way. So I'm not saying that he's wrong for feeling that or anything. But just from the point of view that I'm not in that situation right now, feeling that way right now, I was hurt.
Well, it makes me think of when we read the Zodiac Academy series, how they had these weird fae rules that you could easily offend somebody by having somebody help you in a battle or turning your back on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like he's thinking by dragon rules. You know what I mean? He's thinking, the dragons operate on honor laws, I guess, is what he's thinking.
But, I mean, it brings up the point. If Tarn, this legendary battle dragon, is willing to lower himself for somebody that he loves, why wouldn't it be okay for Sleeg? Why is it
I just don't think he was thinking about Tarn.
Yeah. I agree. I
think he was thinking more about him.
I said,
because he was passed over the first year, and I think to him, he just
that makes me so sad that he thinks that he's less than because he got passed over. Because what it says to me is that Sleeg wasn't there, and so he needed to wait to get his squad, to get his dragon.
Yeah.
It wasn't him being lesser; it was just him waiting for the right one to come along.
Oh, it's so sweet.
Well, I think after losing his leg, it probably reinforced to him that he was the weak link in the squad. You know what I mean? He lost his leg, and he was the only one that couldn't ride. And he's probably thinking to himself, I was passed over the first time. I wasn't supposed to be there with them. I'm holding them back. And now I can't ride. I'm just going to hold them back more if I even make the attempt. And so he's thinking that. And then he's also thinking that he's going to do the same to his dragon. You know, it's just like.
Yeah. And I love that
sad.
Sleeg was like, okay, was your leg worth my life? And Sawyer's like, of course my leg was worth your life. And then it was kind of turned around on him like, so why isn't it me lowering myself a little bit in posture worth having you ride?
Yeah. And I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, I got
That's
emotional.
What finally got to Sawyer.
I got emotional on this part too, just because since I named Sawyer the cat after this particular Sawyer, and it made me think of that same thing, all the shit that he went through and the horrors that he went through. And it was like going through that put him in the path of us. And I don't know if I told y'all or not, but my parents said he is home. They are not, it is not.
Oh, they're keeping
him. That it is, even if he never progresses more than he is now,
I'm gonna cry.
That he is home. Yeah.
I'm going to cry.
Yep.
That's so sweet.
I don't know why, but that just made me cry. Like, oh my god!
To me, that connects like with Sawyer, the character. That feeling of you're not worthy and you're, left behind or not chosen, and for so long he was, and so
and he had to go this far to be able to find that home. And I feel the same way about Sawyer. Like he had to go through this to find his potential.
Yeah.
I think Sawyer is gonna come back and be fucking cooler than ever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When he was struggling with the little thing on his prosthetic, like the kick on his prosthetic, I was like, okay, this is when you use your signet. This is when you metal. You can mold it with your signet. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's so much potential there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love Sawyer. He's one of my favorite characters. I mean, obviously, all of Second Squad is one of my favorite characters.
Right.
But this was such an emotional scene, and other than my little kind of reactive, okay, so accommodating people makes them dishonoring themselves to accommodate you. That was my own like little, because I also can't accept help thing.
Now that's true. No, I can carry all of these boxes by myself.
So it was just, and I have felt that way, where like, no, you don't have to, go out of your way to deal with me. I don't want to put a burden on you. But just looking at it from an outside view, I realize how hurtful it can appear.
Yeah. I do think it's super cute, though, when they're like, he's finally agreeing to get on the dragon. They're like, yes! Like, Riddick is running and, like, hugging everybody.
God, Riddick.
He's got such golden retriever vibes. He's just like, everybody hug me.
Imogen, don't even think about it.
Yeah.
But speaking of Riddick, this scene did make me realize that when Violet talks to her dragon, she almost always does it in her head. And I realized that they are talking out loud so that we can get to hear the conversation.
Right.
But yeah, they don't talk mind to mind. Riddick and Atrum on the beach did not talk mind to mind.
That's true.
They spoke out loud, and I was like, why did they do that other than letting us hear?
It's gotta be so we can hear it, but it does make you wonder because she was still able to talk to her dragons when there was no magic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It does make you wonder.
I thought it was interesting noticing that, oh, wait, they're talking out loud, not mind to mind.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I noted that too.
All right. So they do fly to Eurasia. It takes longer than usual, I believe, because they have the flyers with them. And Brennan's there, and he shows up at her door. She pulls him in, and he's like, oh, by the way, I know Xaden's secret. How long is
Which
he
is
known?
because he's already known a Venin, right? Right? Has he already seen somebody turned into a Venin?
Yeah. Is it that...
Maybe a loved one?
Is it that Xaden told him? Did he already know from the beginning? How long has he known? I feel like he just knew.
I don't trust him.
You said you don't trust him?
No.
I'm on the fence. I feel like I don't trust because he's hiding things. I don't trust. I think he's not telling us everything. But I don't know if he's necessarily a bad guy. I just know that he's not telling us everything. You know what I mean? Kind of like Mira right now. Like, Mira's not telling us everything, but she's not necessarily a bad guy. My thoughts have kind of started leaning back towards him being good, but I'm still unsure about his motives and what he's not telling us.
I don't know. I feel like Mira's
Diego?
stuff that she leaves out, I feel like I don't know. She seems like such a good person. She seems like so courageous, and that the things that she does is, why are you looking like that, Brittany? She's like,
I know, she's making a face.
She really is.
She's making a face.
And I feel like,
I never trust that.
But I feel like
just think
Brittany is a coward.
I just think it's so interesting that y'all give Zayden and Violet such shit for keeping secrets. And I feel like Mira just got forgiven.
Not forgiven. I think there is a reason for hers. I still think it is better if she talks about whatever she found out. But I feel like that hers is more because she wants to understand the material first before she talks about it. Whereas Brennan, I think he is fucking shady as shit. And I would trust Tic Tac over him in a heartbeat. I think there is something fucked up with that boy. Like, no.
See, I just said that I was saying that Brennan is a little forgiven on my end. So I actually don't know what you're talking about.
See, for me, about the whole Mira keeping secrets, again, I feel like everybody has their right to keep their secret, but I don't think that she's keeping it because she wants to have the whole information. I feel like she's keeping it because she's afraid that Violet's going to turn venom, and if she tells her, that's just going to make it true.
Yeah.
She's literally checking Violet's eyes constantly. The first thing she says to Violet whenever Violet's lost in Darna is, "How did you replace the power?" It feels accusatory.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is accusatory, and it's frustrating. I don't think Mira is blameless. I think that it's infuriating to read her at the end because if she should be trusting anyone, it should be Violet. Of all the people in her life that she would suspect of that, it actually hurts me to think that she would think that Violet would take that path. If she was told and believed that there were multiple paths to be taken, and she thought that Violet was going to go down the venom one.
To be fair, Violet almost did at the end of Iron Flame. Almost.
But she didn't. That's the thing, is she's given these opportunities and is able to choose not to. And for Mira to not have the trust and faith in her to not do that is actually pretty shitty of Mira.
I agree. I think that she should have had more faith in Violet.
I understand where her fears come from, for sure. But as her sister, the one person that Violet trusts the most, I would think it's pretty crappy of Mira to think that.
I think
that's fair.
I think Mira got her feelings hurt in Deverelli when they said the books were only for Violet.
Yeah.
But
we
still don't know, though, what the grandmother said.
We don't. Not fully.
Yeah. And she could have said something that made her fear for Violet.
Well, she says, we learn essentially what she says, which is that do we want to just talk about it later?
There's hellbent on going to the end.
We're almost there. I know. We want to get to the end so fast.
Back to Brennan. He has tried mending Zayden. They've tried silent offerings at every temple. Tried pushing magic back into the earth. Tried sitting with the dragon eggs, which in my mind literally is like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, the image of this man sitting with a bunch of dragon eggs and there's sparkles in the air. And
this is not Twilight.
Yeah.
Well, I meant like a cartoon. That is what I'm seeing in my head.
Yeah. But like him trying all of these things to me is good faith. I don't know like I said, that I trust him wholly, but I think it sounds like he tried, if he's telling the truth.
He's trying, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we don't have a secondary source that confirms that he actually did try these things. So therefore, I do not believe it.
You're like, I need a witness. Can I get a witness in here?
Well, we can add Brennan to the list of people who know about Xaden. So that's
It's getting long.
Yeah, Garrick, Bodhi, Imogen, Violet, Rhiannon, Sawyer, Riddick, Jesinia, Brennan.
Plus the dragons.
Plus Atrum knows, Tarn, and Darna, and Sigale.
And we don't know how chatty Atrum is.
We don't.
We don't. He is a 22-year-old dragon. Practically an adolescent teenager.
Yeah.
And he was pissed.
He was.
So before we get to the sexy times, the shadow bondage, there's something that is interesting that she talks about. And it's like, literally, I feel like the sexy times was brought in to distract us from this. But she says, I tugged the perpetually slipping strap of my Devarelli silk nightdress back up my shoulder and flipped the page into Karis's book. My brows rise at the next passage I read, and I go over it once more to be sure I've caught on to a pattern. That makes 3.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What is this?
You're like, I'm on 3 watch. What is the 3?
What's the pattern? She mentions it, that there's something that she's noticed, and you're like, what the hell is this? What book is this? Is it the book that is in the epigraph at the top of chapter 48? Where it says 472 AU, Willhaven Breivik. With the exception of one house, the village was desiccated overnight by a single venin estimated to be a sage. The only adult amongst the 3 survivors described her as astonishingly ageless, hair as black as the day we married, but in the place of the age lines I expected were bulging scarlet veins branching outward from her red-ringed eyes. So
kind of sounds like Xaden's mom.
This venin was married to the only survivor, and I'm assuming that the other survivors were her children because he was the only adult.
We're assuming it's a he, but could be a she.
Yeah, he or she.
We're assuming since they had children.
He or she is they could have adopted.
Sure,
but anyway, he or she is the only is the only survivor. So. Is it something about, loving somebody that protects you from going fully venin, from losing your soul? They say in one of the epigraphs, I can't remember which chapter it is, that Dune and Loyal are the only goddesses that require a lifetime of service.
Right.
Because both war and love change the soul irrevocably.
Right. Which we never got to go to that island. It would have been nice if we could have.
Yeah. I also need a side note that I love that the author of this book is Pearson Halliwell. I have gotten on a Charmed kick lately, which, because of Julian's passing. And it's a P. Halliwell.
Oh.
I was just like, I wonder if Rebecca Yarros is a Charmed fan too.
I bet. Probably.
But yeah, I want to know what this pattern is. Is it that, she found other venin who were married to regular people and they let them live? Is that why she's so certain that Xaden won't hurt her?
Possibly.
Maybe. That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just, I'm very much at the, I need to know what this is. And just a heads up, it's never explained.
Oh, good. I'm sure we'll see it later.
All right, well, let's talk about sexy times.
Oh, the sexy times. I missed Xaden. I missed him so much. Normal Xaden. I felt like he was so normal.
He was. And
again, I'm very concerned.
I want to point out that everybody was like, he keeps saying you're going to be the death of me. He also keeps telling Violet that she owns his soul.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's important, especially the soul thing is super important. So I've been taking note of every time a soul is mentioned.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's so cheesy. I just pass right over it. But maybe it is important. We don't know anything about how this works. I don't know how she would own his soul.
Maybe it's the box of nothingness.
That's where his soul is.
What did you just fuck up, Brittany? Did you see her face when she said that? Like she accidentally said something wrong?
No.
Is
I
the
missed
box
it.
of nothing? Is that...
No, I don't know anything about the box of nothing.
Okay.
As far as I know, at the end of the book, it's on his bedside
Christy's
table.
Well, all of a sudden her
Look what
face
you've
was
done to
like...
her.
It is a theory out there that he put his soul in the box of nothing or another place.
Look what
Or
you've done
another
to us.
place.
This is your fault.
See, I told you. See, she... There it was. There it was.
But
This is Brittany's fault.
what is it Brittany's fault?
Everything.
Our paranoia.
Everything is my fault, sure. No. Okay. Well, what did y'all think about the sexy time scene?
Well, I personally thought it was fantastic. I love Sex in a Chair. Would love to read it again,
Can I just
personally.
point out that this may be the same chair that Brennan sits in
Oh, no!
by her bedside table?
Oh, I'm so glad I didn't read it.
I'm obsessed. I love that it starts
Told you
with
Brennan was
the
evil.
nightgown. I love that it starts with the nightgown. He takes a step back and he's like, oh my God. Like,
I did good.
yeah,
I did excellent choosing this.
yeah. Yeah, it's a good scene. And honestly, it reminds me a little bit of Dorian.
With the
Ghost
bondage?
Hands. Yeah, a little bit. It's good stuff.
Well, it's funny because as soon as people read this scene, they literally took to Instagram and TikTok and filmed themselves like, how does this scene actually work?
I can see it.
With her knees being on this chair, like armrests. And I do gotta say, the part that really gets me is she starts out with him sitting in the chair and her knees on the outside of his thighs. And then he moves her up and onto the armrest. That's getting pretty wide.
We don't know how big the chair is, but yeah.
He's supposed
I don't know. I can see it in my head.
I can see it. I'm just like, I don't know if I don't care how much shadow bondage you have. I'm gonna probably lose my balance and fall backwards. or on top of him.
Oh man. I appreciated that we got kind of another throne scene. I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah, what a shame.
But yeah, it's an interesting scene, and he does try to hold himself back, and she shoves her whole experience down the bond for him to fill,
Which I loved.
to make him release.
Oh my God. No. Christy's eyes are glazing over.
I know, she put in the notes.
This was
Short
not
chapter.
the let me know if I missed anything part. about.
I think we covered everything important that you missed.
Nope.
Which was, you own my heart and soul, whatever. All right.
It is cracking me up
Fine,
listening to
fine.
you, so please feel free to go ahead.
Oh my God.
Anyway, well, moving on.
I get it, Brittany. I understand.
We finally get Violet's second signet revealed. It only took 50 chapters.
It only took 3 books, almost 3 whole books, even though she gaslit the fuck out of us saying, oh, you don't already know?
I'll be honest.
Well,
if
I feel like I knew.
I thought that was my first thought was, okay, this is her second signet, until that whole Taryn and Darna. Why the fuck is Zayden dreaming about Taryn and Darna? Why not Sigale?
That's a good point.
Sigale has
I
not
don't
shown
know.
up in a single one of these
I don't know, man.
dreams. I do have a...
I was going to say maybe that wasn't his dream, but
She says that they discuss every dream that she's had with the sage, and Zayden's had them all.
yeah, I don't know. Weird, but possible. Just weird.
But the thing I don't get is in these dreams, she's having thoughts and describing, and it's like, I know this is a nightmare. He says that most of the time, he doesn't know it's a nightmare. are these her thoughts or his during the dream? Because she's telling herself to wake up, and he's not. So
Are we in another situation where Yaros doesn't really understand her own signets?
I don't know. She did say in an interview that for Violet to learn about the signet, there's literally only one person on the continent who could teach her. And I think that person is Berwyn, who is the sage, I believe.
Yeah.
Unless, can the sage present himself as somebody else in the dream?
Maybe.
Can he change his
Yeah.
appearance?
Probably. I don't see why not. If you could dream walk, wouldn't you be able to do that?
I would think so. But yeah, he says a lot of cryptic things like, I'm gonna, let you help her out this time. I can't let her get a prize. Come on, people, use names. Use fucking names.
Yeah.
And
It felt like a kind of disappointing reveal because I was like,
she did say it would be underwhelming, Rebecca Yaros.
yeah. Even though Christy in the notes was like, Lily!
Well, you got it.
I was like, I appreciate you. Thank you.
And
Also, it makes more sense she was in Marin's dream, which I think I said cats.
yeah, you did.
Which makes way more sense that it was Marin's.
Because I was like, well, Kat was in the dream.
Yeah, I was like, you're right. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not as smart as I think I am.
Not true.
So Zayden says it's a form of intrinsic. Is this another secret she's going to be keeping from everybody?
I guess. I mean, she kind of lost it already.
Oh, well, yeah. But you never know. Andarna may come back.
I don't know. I was just like, yeah, well, she didn't have that signet very long officially. I was like, oh, they revealed it, and then she lost Andarna, so she's not really a dreamwalker anymore.
So they do go to Marin's room to kind of confirm that she was in Marin's dream, and then the bells start ringing because there's Wyvern coming, and they go off to battle. So let's talk about the battle.
All right. Well, one thing that we talked about how Aaric told her that you have to go to the temple, and she brushes him off. But I did feel like this battle was better organized in the sense that they were more prepared to divvy themselves up. But at the same time, I thought it was kind of silly that Violet was like, I can't tell Rhiannon I'm not going to do what she says. You know what I mean? Which I get where she's coming from because she wants to respect Rhiannon. Yeah. But I think Rhiannon would have listened to her if she had tried to say something.
Not to mention the fact that she told the Cenarium that, okay, so you represent a kingdom. I represent Tarn and Darna and the Empyrean. Which one's better?
Right, exactly.
I always wondered how, yes, the humans may decide who's in charge, but isn't it really the dragon who decides who's in charge?
Yeah, I don't know. That, another thing that seems to flop back and forth, Another thing is the opening for this chapter was Pancheck. Did we talk about that?
No.
Dumbass quote.
His little.
I felt like it was a threat.
Oh.
Yeah, his memoir.
I felt he was being Captain Obvious.
Okay, so my thing is he's a lieutenant. He's got 2 memoirs out. And if you look at the type of tactics he's spouting, oh yeah, if we were going to attack the enemy, here's how I would do it. I would attack a school. Children.
Yeah.
Or not really children because they're 21. But still, I would attack a school.
He's fucking crazy.
And then he's going to sit there and be like, yeah, if you really want your soldiers to fight really hard, put their family in danger.
See, this is what I meant by I feel like it's a threat because who writes shit like that?
A sociopath.
And we don't know what his role is. We don't know how involved he is. And then we see that from his character. I was like, it's interesting that people who have family here are about to have to be put into a battle while their family is on the line. And Rhiannon mentions that. She's like, hey, keep in mind, a lot of us have families here, so let's keep that in mind when we're on the battlefield. And this is the opening for the chapter, which is nothing is a more effective motivator than seeing one's home on fire. I just don't think it's a coincidence that he's not just stating that. I think it's interesting that Pancheck is the one who stated that in a book.
Yeah.
I don't know. That could just be looking into it too much, but
I think
I don't know.
You're like, a doctor can't operate on their family member because they're too emotionally involved.
Right.
You don't send a warrior to protect their home because they're too emotionally involved.
Right.
You're more likely to make mistakes that way.
Right.
But it's like torture, if you hold somebody's family hostage, you can get them to do whatever you want.
Right. And so them being sent to Aurasia and then all of a sudden getting attacked at Aurasia.
It's a good point. Literally a night, a few hours. Yeah. Violet was there for a few hours and they attack.
And we know there's a traitor in our midst. I just think it's really...
Or more than one.
Or more than one.
I feel like there's going to be an obvious pan check. I mean, blatantly he's a traitor. I feel like he's a definite, but I feel like there's going to be more that are going to be surprising.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Now Brittany's got me concerned about Bodhi.
I did not mean to make you concerned about Bodhi.
I feel like if Bodhi did betray in some way, he would end up making it up.
Could you see...
Oh God, I hope so.
Could you see Bodhi betraying Xaden?
No, he's a teddy bear, sweetie pie.
I could see him making a mistake.
See him doing that.
Oh.
Sure, that's different. Yeah, I could see that.
I wish I could say more.
Oh no, this bitch.
Google it is.
No. Just as soon as we're done,
let me
read the rest of the book. Read the rest of the book.
Jeeves, this motherfucker. Okay. I
just think it's interesting, though. I know Andarna shows up at the temple, and that kind of pulls Violet there, but she ended up there anyway without Andarna telling her that she was there. So I feel like this warning that Aaric gives her was kind of like, was there...
Useless?
Yeah, was there a way that she wouldn't have... Like, I guess if Andarna wasn't there, would she have walked away from the temple?
I think it's possible because Andarna went there because she heard Aaric.
Yeah.
So I think it's possible she could have been brought down to the temple and then left to go back to her battle station.
Could Aaric have been talking to her?
That is a possibility.
Like he saw that Andarna was there and that's who he was talking to because that's who needed to go?
Or he saw Andarna there and assumed that Violet was with her.
Well, no, I mean, when he gave the warning to Violet, if he saw that Andarna was at least close enough to hear him and that the warning was actually for Andarna to go protect Dune's temple.
It's a possibility. I mean, he may have just seen himself giving the warning and didn't know how, but he knew he needed to do it.
Yeah.
How it would affect.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, there is this moment when the high priestess comes out of the Dune temple and she's like, "Do you dye your hair like we do?" And
she's like, no.
Is this really the time? And they do confirm that Theophany is an ex-high priestess of Dune. And she is now a heretic.
Well, we knew that.
And is not welcome in the Temple of Dune.
Thank God for that. In this section, I felt like Violet was kind of portrayed as a little bit of a dumbass because I feel like Violet would normally listen to Aaric and would normally, she would have already picked up that Theophany was a priestess of Dune. You know what I mean? I don't get why she didn't.
On Umbriel, she was making that connection, and every time she tried to make that connection, Taryn yelled at her and said, "Focus, focus!" And
oh, right.
And so she kind of...
I forgot about that.
After leaving, it was like, I mean, it's out of sight, out of mind, I guess.
Yeah.
And one part that I wanted to throw out too is that in one moment, Taryn says, and I can't remember the exact setup, but the way it was said was really strange. "I will not lose her as I did the one before," which could be Nolan.
Yeah.
But it also sounded kind of different that he wasn't talking about maybe Violet. And I was thinking, could it be another Irid that he's lost? And that Andarna was the one he was talking about?
I
think he meant Naolin.
I thought it was Naolin. Violet and Darna says several times that she was the only one left of her kind, and Leothan and the others said that she was the criterion when she said that she was from the continent. So I would assume that they only left one.
Okay.
But it's a good thought. Like, I didn't think of, I mean, it could be. We don't know that much about it.
It just sounded weird the way that he said it in the context. It felt like it wasn't necessarily about a writer, but I could be reading too much into it.
Can I just say, somewhat unrelatedly, that I thought it was so sweet that Fierg tried to protect Andarna as much as possible?
Yeah.
Oh, it was just like my heart.
I like Fierg.
Yeah.
But speaking of Leothan, he has been watching them. We don't know how long, but he's been watching them. And so he's decided that he's going to go fire the wards. But before this, Andarna breathes fire on Theophany. And
nothing happens.
Doesn't burn her. And then, like, literally right after that, she gets the scared look. Now, is she scared because she can feel the wards coming up? Or is she scared because she detected Leothan, and maybe as she gets older, they can kill her level of venom? Because the venom that she killed in the Battle of Basgiath was an Asum.
Yeah.
So she is at least a sage, potentially a maven. So is it her power level that saved her? Or is it, Taryn being right about first fire burns the hottest? That was the only time you could do it. Is it because she didn't change color?
Yeah, that could all be reasonable. I do think I could see it being like she has to be older. She has to be more powerful to kill Theophany specifically. That makes sense to me in my mind, but who knows? Because I would hate that Taryn is right on that.
Yeah, me too. I like the fact that she's the only one who can burn venom.
Yeah.
Maybe she ran because she saw Leothan, but
I think it could have been the wards, maybe.
It could have also definitely been the wards, although it makes me wonder if Leothan fired them, how quickly did they go up that she could run from them? I mean, I know they used like a distance wielder to do it, but she felt it coming.
Yeah. I said this to you guys before we started the episode, but I'm going to reiterate it. I think, so this one hit you a little harder, Brittany, this section.
Yes.
Because Andarna chooses to leave. And I feel like, just me personally, it didn't hit me that hard. Maybe it's because, I did cry. I did cry when Andarna was gone. I did start crying. But I think because I'm in incredible denial about the fact that she's gone and I think she's going to come back, it did not hit me the way that it hit you. I think the last section really hit me hard because Andarna was so hurt in that last one. And I feel like in this one, it was less, I don't know. It's horrible and it's heart-wrenching, but it's like a different kind of hurt, I guess.
It wasn't necessarily the fact that Andarna left, because I get that. It was how it made Violet feel.
Yeah.
How she reacted to it that hit hard.
Yeah. That incredible sense of loss.
Yeah. The loss of her connection, that door shutting.
Yeah. She says, I was infinite yet moored, and now it's gone.
It's so sad because Andarna is so young. I think that it's not fair that he came and, kind of offered her this. A lot of it is difficult because when you're young like that, you act on impulse and emotion, and I can see Andarna
and that
regretting her decision quickly.
That sense of belonging is definitely important. She's said several times that she does not feel like she belongs.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's, this whole time she said that that's what she seeks, and then she thinks she's getting it.
Yeah. And I think in reading this, the part that was frustrating and the part that I think hurt the most was how fast it happened, and that there wasn't some sense of fighting back and forth of, oh, well, I don't know. My gosh, I'm going to miss you so much. There was no saying goodbye. It was almost like It was almost like that Violet said, oh, well, if you want to. And then all of a sudden, Andana was like, great, thanks, bye.
She was
you
gone.
know, and it was just like, well, really? There's no,
Okay.
Yeah.
like nothing.
So
There's no closure.
Here, I told you I had a rant about Leothan. Here's my rant. I don't think Andarna chose to leave. I think he broke the bond, sort of. And after it was done, she couldn't talk to Violet, and she felt like she had no other choice.
I don't know. I feel like if he'd have broken it without her consent, she would have thrown a hissy fit.
It's something that she wanted, though. And it was something that she was considering. I think he just did it.
I know, but she could have still
made the choice for her.
Lowered her head down and given Violet a little snuggle or something to let her know that, hey, I love you. You don't have to have words.
But literally, the bond disappears and he launches, and Darna is sitting there like, and she looks at Violet and is like, I guess I have to follow. That was my thought.
It's possible that he did help her break that bond, but I think she made that decision herself. And I think it really is, part of it is that she's still a child.
I think she was going to decide to go. I just think that he jumped the gun.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this. I don't think you have, but it kind of reminds me of if you have like divorced parents and one is the good parent and one is the bad parent, and your whole life you think one is one, and then you get older and you're like, oh, the bad parent was actually really doing things that were good for me, and I didn't realize it because I was young and stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it feels like that to me. She thinks she's making the right choice. She's just not.
My thing is, they've never... Okay, so he says that, bonding is just a magical tie. And he points out, who spoke to you first? It was Tarn. And so when they speak to you, they're bonding, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
So the Irids speak to everybody through this slide whistle thing. And they don't know the bond the way that Andarna made the bond.
Right.
And so I feel like, okay, yes, he's easily like, okay, you can break a connection because we talk to people all the time and just break that easily. And I think that while this bond is seemingly broken, I feel like it's more hidden. Because
that's possible.
She does say later, and I know it's on her back, so she doesn't really know, but she says, am I worthy of Andarna's relic if, if she came back and saw me like this? So is the relic still there?
We don't know.
I feel like it is.
I feel like we don't find out.
I feel like she would have felt like there was this burning pain when she got it.
Right.
There would
wouldn't she have felt it if it was gone?
Yeah.
That's a good thought. I like that. I like that a lot better, to think that all of a sudden that connection is going to open up and okay. All right, let's go with that.
Again, I mean, it does say like when Violet's there, it becomes a wall and then nothing. And I could be absolutely wrong and that it is broken and she's gone. And I guess if she comes back, she'll forge it anew, like Leothan said. But I just feel like it's not gone.
I think we should talk about how she handles it and the aftermath.
She handles it much like I do. Curl into bed and, shut down.
Spiral of depression.
Depression. And I do have to point out, just to fuck with you a little bit, Christy, much like Darcy did when Orion got arrested.
Are we trying to ruin the books? Are we trying to ruin the books? Although, at least
I just had to.
Darcy
I'm sorry.
was my favorite at the end, so there's a slight pass there.
But anyway, so they call in Mira because nothing is helping. She's barely speaking. She's barely getting out of bed. And Mira comes in and she starts making this kind of accusatory statement, as I pointed out earlier, which made me not so fond of her, but she does manage to get Violet out of bed and speaking. And Xaden even was like shocked she was speaking. And Brennan's like, they're my sisters, let me in.
I hated Brennan in this part.
I want to know why you were upset about Brennan.
He's just such an annoying fucking gnat.
He is annoying sometimes. He's like,
he seems like such a coward. It seems like you know what he reminds me of? Dane in the beginning. He wants Violet to be a coward because he's a fucking coward. He doesn't want her to make choices that are...
Damn.
You know? And I just...
I get that.
I want to punch him so much. So much.
Believe it or not, I find his wanting to protect Violet more understandable and acceptable than Dane's. Even though you make a good point, it is the same kind of behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even think it's from him an effort to protect her. I think it's just because that's the kind of cowardly decision he would make. And so it's like he wants her to make the same type of cowardly decision that he would do.
He goes out and fights.
He's like the last one out. You know what he is? You know what he is? He is the person that when someone is unloading the dishwasher, that once you're on the last fucking plate to put it up, they go, "Can I help?"
Oh my gosh. The dishwasher thing is so incredibly specific. Oh my god. I think I'm with Brittany on this one. I think I kind of get where he's coming from a little bit. But I do see your comparison to Dane. I kind of see that.
I do too.
But at the same time, I was way more upset at Mira than I was at Brennan, especially in this section, because she is so confident about what she thinks is the truth, and she just has no fucking clue. And like I said earlier, I think it's infuriating to me that she just thinks Violet's going to make the wrong choice. She doesn't trust her. And it's funny because she's falling into the path of being Lilith's daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. And
you know what I mean?
If you go back and reread the sections ever since she went to Grandmama Niera, it's over. Yeah. It's over and over and over. She checked her eyes. She checked her eyes.
Yeah.
When that lightning strike hit in Dune's temple, she was like, "How did you do it?"
Yeah.
And again, I mean, she did. We all think that she did do it, but
I don't think she channeled, though.
I mean, I think it's Dune's power.
Yeah. But that's my problem here is like, and what I think is interesting is we got really close to the truth of it when we were discussing it, is we got really close to what happened with Asher, which he went to dedicate her, but we were just so close. It just wasn't exactly it.
Yeah.
And Mira didn't know, and neither did Asher.
Yeah. I'm not super thrilled that if Violet is correct that, or I don't remember exactly who said it, but if he tried to have her dedicated because she was ill.
Yeah.
And he was trying to fix her.
Yeah.
As much as I would love a cure and to be not diabetic anymore, I don't like the idea of somebody trying to fix me.
Well, he thought he was... I can understand if you're a parent and you think that your kid is going to die. Maybe he thought she was going to die.
I mean, I get that. Yes, that would make it way more... But think about it. You're dedicating your daughter to a lifetime service.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Yeah.
And you shouldn't be able to dedicate somebody love, I would think. To a lifetime service. The gods themselves should make it where the person has to decide their own path.
Well, if you remember, they said that they changed it. Like, they can't
Navarre
allow that anymore.
Yeah. Navarre did, but Umbriel still dedicates children. There was another child there with silver-tipped hair, so you gotta assume that maybe that child was also partially dedicated.
Yeah.
Right. In my mind, I was thinking, oh, they changed it in Umbriel too, just after she was dedicated. I wasn't thinking that they still did it.
The only reason they didn't do it is because they said that her path was uncertain. And this is where we get into kind of like a prophecy a little bit. And I thought it was interesting because do you remember that dream she had in Fourth Wing right before she woke up to find all those unbonded in her room? It was of her dad. And she said, what if I wanted to be a writer? And he said, that's not your path.
Right. This goes back to the very beginning of Fourth Wing when Mama's saying, she can't be a writer. She has to be a scribe. Oh, just explains all of that. Ugh, I kind of hate that. God, I just hate that because it makes Asher and Lilith, mostly Asher, it makes them such crappy characters. I honestly loved Lilith's response, which we read, which is, I'm not sure I'll ever forgive him for what he's done.
Yeah.
Which my first thought was, I get that. Like, I would totally be right there with her. And it just sucks because we didn't know anything about Asher up to this point, and you'd think he's got good intentions, but it kind of cheapens his quest, for this cure, because it's like, this whole time, they all really thought that she was gonna be like this evil person. I don't know. Like, it just...
They said she had multiple paths. They assumed that her becoming a writer was the one that would lead her to that.
Right.
Which, to be fair, it was. Which they said if you choose wrongly. I don't understand how this is choosing wrongly, but, whatever.
Yeah.
But...
how do we know that was the path?
If Xaden is correct and he is the reason that, he reached for unspeakable power, he was the heart that beat for her and became Venin.
I don't know how I forgot that portion of it as we were discussing, but it's definitely about him. I don't think it's about her.
Yeah, I don't think she'll turn Venin. But it also kind of makes sense, and I'm literally only just putting this together right now, why Lilith was looking for a cure,
right,
with Nolan.
Like,
what if she didn't turn Venin, and the cure she was looking for was in case Violet ever turned?
I don't know, man. It's just, there's a lot to think about here, and it made me feel very complicated.
Well, it ends with Mira storming out and going...
Hope she comes around.
Yeah, she goes back to the front.
Final thoughts?
I will say my favorite quotes is always when they are back in Battle Brief and Devera's like, welcome to our 2 new guests. Make yourselves as uncomfortable as possible.
Yeah.
And when they are having that fight and everybody's watching and Xaden shows up about the letting civilians in, Riddick's like, ooh, he used the wing leader voice. Now it's a show.
Oh my gosh. My favorite part of this section was Aaric. I'm fascinated by that child. I don't know anything about him, but I want to know more about him.
I love that he stood by Xaden's side.
Yes, and I also was so happy that Sawyer got back on his dragon.
Yes.
Finally.
Yes.
Yes, that is my absolute favorite part too, Sawyer.
Yes. Okay, well, we only have 1 section left. Oh my gosh.
So close to being over.
I know, we only have 1 section left, and then
then
the book will be over.
Probably a year before we ever discuss Fourth Wing again.
Yep. We're going to have to revisit all of these episodes. Oh God, we're going to have to keep all these notes and everything. All right. But we hope that everyone will join us for next week's episode. We're going to be discussing Onyx Storm chapters 55 through 66, which is toward the end. New episodes drop each week, and don't forget to check out last season's discussion on the Zodiac Academy series, available now.
Please remember to like, subscribe, and follow us on social media. That like and follow are super important for us to continue to bring you new episodes each week, so please, please, please do so. You can also support us by joining us on Patreon. Thank you for listening to the Midnight Readers podcast. We'll see you next week.
Happy reading, listeners. Don't stay up too late.